All righty, we are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the final day of Boys Town Newborn Week. We've gone live every single day this week with a different Boys Town pediatrician talking about a different topic as it relates to you and your newborn. We've talked breastfeeding, crying, sleeping, health and hygiene, and now we are live with Dr. Annie Zimmer to discuss coping with parental guilt. Dr. Zimmer, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Good. Great to have you on today. As we go through our Q&A, we of course are doing a giveaway, and if you want a chance to win a photo frame with an infant onesie set from Boys Town Pediatrics, make sure you like this video and leave a comment. Let us know what you've enjoyed this week, if you found it helpful. Whatever you would like to comment is totally fine. A question, anything you want. And of course, if you are watching and you don't want to leave a public comment, maybe you're haven't disclosed your pregnancy to friends and family yet, or whatever the reason may be, you can always message us directly during the stream and we'll be checking our inbox. Lastly, I want to remind everyone we are having the in-person newborn care workshop tomorrow. So that's going to be from 9 to 1, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Boys Town headquarters, and that's 14100 Crawford Street. It's our big headquarter building on campus. So there's a big parking lot right across the street from it. And if you walk in, we will have people there ready to direct you to learn more about caring for your newborn. So we look forward to seeing everyone tomorrow. Okay, Dr. Zimmer, is it normal to feel guilty as a new parent, and why does it happen?
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a reason we call it expecting. So, there's a lot of expectation about having a new baby, and there's a lot of ideas and planning that go into having a family. So, when a baby shows up and it doesn't always go exactly as planned, then the reality and the expectations, there starts to be a little discrepancy and reality check about what we were expecting to happen. So,
Mhm,
it's 100% normal to second guess how you're doing.
mhm. Yeah. How can we balance taking care of my baby and taking care of myself?
Yeah, that's a hard thing to do because most, especially the first time or the first baby, your whole schedule is totally independent and you're in control of it all. And then all of a sudden, a baby really kind of comes and hijacks your schedule and needs you constantly. So you have to find people in your life, either your partner or grandparents or friends that want to help you out. And I really think it's great to carve out a routine of time where somebody else can help take care of the baby so you can do some things that still feel like normal to you, or like exercise or um, get-togethers that were a routine for you, just trying to maintain some of your previous schedule to make you feel normal again. So
Mhm. Definitely. Yeah, we had World Mental Health Day actually fell during Boys Town Newborn Week. So
oh
I'm seeing so much stuff on social media of t- uh, different people talking about how they care for their mental health, and especially after delivery, even if it's getting outside and going on a walk with baby, or, with your partner, just trying to take 5 minutes to,
yeah,
take a shower. It's
yeah,
simple as it may seem, or even if it gets more serious and you would like to, talk to your OB, talk to your pediatrician, if your mental health maybe isn't, where you want, it's always an option and we're always there to support you.
absolutely. It's kind
Definitely.
of, I always think, that not only does the baby take over your whole schedule, they kind of take over your brain too. And our the woman's hormones are kind of built to attach to the baby and attend to the baby, but sometimes it makes us vulnerable for it to get the best of us, and we no longer are enjoying what we're doing or enjoying being a parent, or not able to put our best foot forward because we're just struggling. So it's something that we're all aware of on the healthcare side, and we want to be available to parents to help them out if they're struggling. It's not just moms, it happens to dads too. So
Mhm. Yes. What are some effective strategies for managing parental guilt?
I think you have to sit there and take a little bit of inventory of what really matters. I think social media sometimes can be a harm in this way. Social media is such a popular way to share photos of your new baby, but then it can start being a source of you judging your new baby experience against somebody else's. So I think I would take some time outs from that, to be honest, a little bit, and just really weigh what is important to you about being a good parent, or what do you think is going to matter most, and whether or not your baby gets organic homemade food, or was I a nurturing parent and did the best I could for my child's physical well-being every day. So what criteria are you using? Make sure it's fair
Mhm.
to judge yourself on, I guess.
Yeah. No, it's so true, especially with social, comparison is the thief of joy. And
Mhm.
we see that so much, especially with the rise of, all the different mom influencers that are online and showing what
Yes.
they're doing. It's can be really hard that way. So
Yes.
I love that. How can we handle feelings of guilt when we can't be with baby all the time?
Yeah, I think it's good to start or let yourself recognize some of the benefits of your baby not being with you. So, babies do need to learn how to navigate the world eventually on their own with less of you. So, if they have to get used to a different caretaker at times, that's actually helping your baby build some skills. It's not like you're absent forever. They can come back and be reassured that you're there, but they can grow close and bond to other people that are important in your life. Or, hopefully you found a daycare or a babysitter that is somebody that you have confidence in, that is appropriate, or you are happy that your child's attached to them as well. But it is part of your baby's skills to be with other people. So you want to be there all the time, but eventually they do need to get away from you a little bit. And even in the infancy stage, it's okay.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. And a big thing when we think of parental guilt is going back to work. So for those parents watching this who are planning on returning to work after their maternity leave, what tips do you have for them?
Yeah, I think you know, talking to your daycare, if you're a little bit nervous about how that's going to go, sometimes a lot of the daycares around here are awesome. They send, pictures to parents throughout the day, or have apps that you can check in on how your baby's doing. So that can give you a little bit of security. But the routine of getting back to work, I think a lot of moms appreciate getting back to work if that was ultimately their goal. It's hard to not be with your baby, but it also feels kind of good to be back to your old self and doing a routine. And oftentimes, some of that schedule stuff starts settling in when moms go back to work. And it can be a rough couple weeks at first, but then all of a sudden the babies are sleeping better, and it just settles in really well sometimes when you get the routine of having to go to daycare and work. So there
Mhm.
can be benefits to it.
Yeah, that's a great perspective to hear because you always think of the time away, but then, really getting in a routine kind of we talked a little bit about that with sleep this week especially is really big. Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah. So what about guilt associated with breastfeeding, which was our topic on Monday? What can we do if we're feeling guilty that, maybe we wanted to breastfeed and we tried it and it's just not working for us? How do we cope with that?
Yeah, I think that kind of goes back to that original comment about expectations, and us as the medical community, we see a lot of benefits in breastfeeding, and so we really want to support moms. But there's no judgment when it doesn't work out, and at least from us medically. And statistically, about 80% of women attempt breastfeeding, and the recommendation for breastfeeding is exclusive breastfeeding the whole first 6 months, but only about 25% of women are successful in achieving that. And so I don't think it's really on the moms. I think it's, culturally, the expectations of what we're expecting women to pull off, like fully providing breast milk and getting back to work and caring for a household. It's a lot. And I always go back to, there's a reason infant mortality rates have improved over the last 100 years. Is we have better formulas, and we have pasteurized milk. So these are all factors that it's okay if a baby ends up on formula, whether it's by choice or because you weren't able to breastfeed the way you had hoped.
Yeah. we always say a fed baby is a happy baby. So,
Exactly, exactly.
mhm,
And I think, if a mom is getting depressed or anxious or overwhelmed, because it can be something we obsess with as mothers, like, are they getting enough? Am I making enough milk? I think that starts to have consequences on the baby too. So if formula ends up in there and mom's happier and baby's fed, that can sometimes be an okay thing too.
mhm, yeah. In talking about mental health, are there signs that maybe the guilt that we're feeling surrounding parental guilt, or maybe just our mental health in general, is declining postpartum? What can we do about, or what does that look like, first of all? And then what can we do about that?
Yeah, in the healthcare system, we have, there's been research that shows that depressed parents don't parent as effectively. So we have taken an interest in this, and it's very normal to have some baby blues. Again, that reality check that we all have to do. It's really common around week 2 or 3 for moms to feel a little bit down
Mhm,
after baby is born. It really can happen anytime, but it is maybe a little more problematic. I always say I never cried until I had kids, and and so you might find yourself more tearful. But if you're crying and you don't know why, and you're crying lots of days, that might mean that it's getting the best of you.
mhm,
Or if you're kind of withdrawing from activities or not enjoying the things that you used to enjoy, not looking forward to things. If your sleep is um, interrupted, which usually moms are sleep deprived, and if you're still not able to sleep when you're given time to sleep, maybe your mind's getting the best of you there, and then like your appetite, if your appetite is really not there, those might be signs that it's becoming or it's starting to interfere for you.
mhm. Yeah, someone just asked that in our discussion on, ways to detect our own parental guilt or decline in mental health. But we might notice that in ourselves. What about our partner? Is it kind of looking for those similar things as well?
Absolutely, and I think if you're struggling and it's hard to talk to your partner about that, sometimes it might be good to say, "How are you doing?" Or "How are you feeling about this?" Or but and maybe your partner's waiting for you to say that as well. So it really it is overwhelming for both parents usually. It's just a major change to have a baby, and there's a lot of joy, and that's kind of what lifts some of the stress. But you have to check in whether things are going well or not well, and it might be checking in about, okay, this routine's not working for me, but it might be about your mental health too. So
Mhm. Yes. How can I set realistic expectations for myself as a parent? So you talked at the beginning, the guilt is associated with expectations, but maybe we're watching now and we're pregnant and we're trying to think of, okay, this is the kind of parent I want to be. This is what
yeah.
I want for my, like, what should we be prioritizing when trying to make expectations?
Of course, the basics like making sure your baby's fed, and
Yeah.
that they get their routine doctor appointments to make sure that they're healthy. But really, babies, especially that first year, there's no such thing as too much talking to your baby, too much reading to your baby. And, there's going to be moments that you are a little overwhelmed and stressed, and you just have to change the diaper and get the baby in the car seat and get them on the way or whatever. Um, but making sure that you're taking the time to bond with your baby and nurture their development and growth, and that's really all it is responding to their needs, and reading and talking and singing and playing with them. So I think that again, the social media and the excitement of baby shopping and baby showers and all that stuff, I think it can start putting those expectations like I'm gonna exclusively breastfeed, or I'm gonna make all my own baby food, or I'm gonna only do organic for my baby. And at some point, all those things turn into compromises. So,
Yes.
really the priority is being the nurturing, loving parent on a day-to-day basis as best you can be.
Mhm. Yeah, certainly. What are some ways that we can stay connected with our baby when we're not physically present? So, say we're going back to work, for example.
Yeah. I mean, I see a lot of moms, they'll put a picture of their baby on their desk or on their phone wallpaper or something like that. A lot of moms do that because it's helpful for like when they're pumping, if they have to pump at work, that kind of helps the milk flow better. But again, like a lot of the daycares have apps, but you could talk to your daycare provider if you have an in-home daycare provider, or if it's your mom or your mother-in-law or something like that that's caring for the baby, just letting them know, like, oh, can you send me a picture? And sometimes it's just nice to see your baby having fun or content or doing something cute with somebody else that can give you a little reassurance and still feel like you aren't missing out.
Yeah, definitely. I went on a weekend trip this summer with one of my close friends who had a baby within the last year. And we got there and she was so excited. And then she kind of thought, oh, this is my first time ever being away from my baby since they've been born, and kind of, struggling through with that. So even just taking, 5 minutes out of the trip to FaceTime her family and see
100%.
baby, it definitely lifted her spirits. So, I think it's something everyone goes through.
Absolutely. And it's kind of, it's a good thing to have to do to recognize your baby can be happy and content with other people.
Yes, for sure, for sure. We just have a couple more questions for Dr. Zimmer on coping with parental guilt. So if you're watching live, make sure you like this video and leave a comment to be entered in today's giveaway. So we talked a little bit about this earlier, but do you have any more tips on, communicating feelings of guilt or just saying that we're struggling with my partner or support network? So often I feel like when we give birth and everyone says, let me know what you need, or if you need anything, let me know. And really asking for help when it comes down to it is hard for a lot of people. So do you have advice around that?
Yeah, I think, I think that's something I struggled with myself is you just don't want to put other people out or you don't want to feel like, or you don't want people to think you can't handle it. But other people are honestly dying to hold your baby or bring you a meal. And so if somebody offers, do take them up on it.
Mhm.
And I think, just, it doesn't, you don't have to get into the details, but just saying, I need to get away or I have an appointment or something, and just getting somebody to take care of your baby so you can go do something minor, even if need be, just to get a little time out or do a little self-care, go
Mhm.
get your hair cut, stuff like that. So
Yeah.
people understand you still have to be a normal person after you have a baby.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. My friend, she's due in about a week. And I told her, when your husband's at work and you want to take a shower, just call me and I will be over there
Yeah,
with that baby.
yeah,
'Cause it's always the things where, you do them before you have kids and you don't think twice about it. And then you have a newborn baby and you're like, oh man, I need to hop in the shower, but is he okay? I don't know.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
there's people
And
are,
that's a perfect example too. And even like the showering thing, I remember that too, is like you just felt like you couldn't do anything because
yeah,
you didn't know how somebody was going to care for the baby. And now I think, if a baby cries for a few minutes while you finish your shower, it's okay. And
it
that doesn't mean you don't love them and it's not going to scar the baby. It's really, if that's your routine that you just let them cry in the crib while you are watching a show or something, that's different. But,
right.
it's okay if the baby has to cry and figure some self-soothing out a little bit while you're
Mhm.
being a person.
For sure. We talked all about that yesterday with Dr. Schneider about
Yeah.
babies cry. It's how they communicate. So
Yes, exactly. I do feel bad. Some parents' babies cry a little more grating than other babies.
yeah,
But
definitely, definitely. What resources or support groups are available for parents struggling with guilt or mental health?
yeah, I mean, if you are struggling, don't hesitate to talk to your OBGYN and your pediatrician because both offices are likely plugged in with lots of options or lots of people that can help. There are some support groups I know through some of the hospitals around town. So when you get discharged, you might get some information from your hospital. And if your hospital isn't providing something that works, consider checking in with a different hospital because a lot of them are all free. I know there's one at the Med Center that's for expectant moms and moms that whole first year after. I think it's called something like Lean In. There's one through Milkworks, which is a lactation consultant service, and they're just great like support groups for moms to help recognize we're all kind of going through the same struggle. And then there are other, counseling resources or psychiatric services that your doctor could help get you plugged into if that was a concern too.
Yeah. Before we hop into the Q&A, how can we be kinder to ourselves and recognize the positive things that we are doing as parents?
Yeah, I think it's fair to just take inventory of what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. It's like, okay, I got a load of laundry done and I wiped the kitchen counter, so take some inventory, but also again prioritizing. And it's like if I didn't make the baby food that I was thinking I was going to make today, or sort the tote of clothes that I thought I was going to sort, does that really weigh into what kind of parent I am? So there's not enough time sometimes when you have a newborn to do all the things and meet all the expectations that you were hoping for. But if you're kind of still feel like you're attending to your baby, and then I think you just need to give yourself a pat on the back.
Yes, for sure. I have a note to mention too as well. Nurture Omaha is one of our partners, and they're going to be at our in-person care workshop this weekend. So if you're attending, that's a great place also to get plugged in with resources, and we'll have more info on that available as well. Okay, let's see. For the Q&A, I'm looking here in the questions. We see a lot of messages of gratitude, so thank you everyone for commenting all of those. I think the only question we may have answered on advice for detecting our own guilt. So I'll wait for that wheel to come through, and then we'll go ahead and spin that wheel. But in the meantime, Dr. Zimmer, if we would like to request a meet and greet with you or any of our wonderful other pediatricians, how can we do that?
Yeah, just call the office of the pediatrician you'd like to meet with, and you're welcome to meet with more than one Boys Town pediatrician. We all appreciate that it kind of takes a connection and feeling like you've met somebody that you can trust with your baby. So we're all accepting meet the greets, and we try and accommodate your schedule to meet and answer any questions before baby arrives. So, and a meet and greet is not a commitment. So you make the commitment when you tell the delivering hospital who the pediatrician is.
Yes, and I believe if you're watching on Facebook, I linked that form above this video, so you can check that out. Okay, so the winner today here we have is Jennifer S. Thank you, Jennifer. I'll message you from the page to coordinate a prize pickup. And of course, we are going to draw for the grand prize giveaway winner. So we'll add up everything over the weekend, and we'll probably draw for that on Monday. That grand prize is a newborn photo shoot with Nikki McLay Photography. Dr. Zimmer, thank you so much for joining us for this wonderful interview.
No problem.
Yes. All right. Well, like I mentioned at the beginning, I hope to see many of you this weekend at our newborn care workshop tomorrow morning. And we hope you found this helpful. It's been a joy being on and interacting with so many of you this week. And best of luck with your newborn. Boys Town Pediatrics is always here to help you. And we'd love to see you in our clinics with your new baby. So thanks, everyone. Until next time.